4 weeks of NFL action has come to an end. And how are the rookies from the 2024 NFL draft class performing? We're going to discuss this and more coming up next.
You are Locked On NFL Draft, your daily podcast covering the NFL Draft. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Locked On family? Welcome back to the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast, your daily podcast covering your favorite draft prospects, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your boy, Damian Parsons. You can find and follow me on X at DP_NFL. I'm a senior draft analyst, and thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and every day. Shout out for being our everydays. And you know, I got to kick the intro to Mr. LSU himself, Keith Sanchez. You can find and follow him on X at The Talent Code. Keep talking to him, baby.
What's up, Locked On family? Let's get locked in. This is Keith Sanchez, 2019 national champ, man, and the other side to this dynamic duo that we like to call the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast. And I want to start this podcast off by saying shout out to our everydayers. Thank you for tapping in with us each and every single day. Every listen is greatly appreciated. DP, you went in your bag with this one, man. We gave a blast from the past. We bringing back the rookie report. So we're going to talk about those rookie quarterbacks, right? A little Caleb Williams, a little Jayden Daniels. Then we're going to talk about those rookie wide receivers, right? Which guys are performing well? Probably Malik Neighbors, right? And then we're going to talk about a couple rookie defenders that are playing lights out and helping their defense perform to a top-notch level. DP, I'm ready to get this thing started. We haven't did a rookie report all year. Let's get into it.
This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL and use the code all lowercase LockedOnNFL to win $50 instantly when you play $5. Keith, if there's anybody in the 2024 NFL draft class in terms of the rookie report that deserves an A+, it's got to be Jayden Daniels. Jayden Daniels has played out of his mind. He's played incredible football on the season so far through the first 4 games. He is completing 82% of his passes for 897 yards passing, 3 passing touchdowns. He's had 46 carries, 218 yards rushing, and 4 more touchdowns. Would like to see those passing touchdowns increase. He only has 1 interception, and that came this past Sunday against the Arizona Cardinals. But this one, he's not making critical mistakes. He is delivering the ball. He's being that distributor. And when they need him to be that improviser, use his legs, make a big time throw, make something out of nothing, he then can do that as well. And I think it was who made the statement? I think it was Cam Taylor-Britt before they beat the Bengals 2 weeks ago. And he said, oh, they're playing the college offense, things like that. And then Jayden Daniels went out there and cooked him. He was 21 of 23 for 254 and 2 touchdowns passing with also a rushing touchdown. It's like, well, that's kind of good for a college offense, right? Like,
yep. And guess what, DP?
Control.
He ran a college play, that slot fade, right? If you want to call that a college play or not, but he looked exactly like what he did at LSU. But 100%. If it works, it works.
It works, man.
At the end of the day. And I like the fact that he's using his legs to set some stuff up, right? That you can see, like, and I think from week 1, right? I think he had the rushing touchdown first. I think that was his first touchdown of his NFL career, just using his legs. And I think we had this conversation yesterday, right? About some quarterbacks utilizing their legs to get comfortable. We're talking about Cade Klubnik. And Jayden is of that similar ilk, right? And I've watched a whole lot of them, obviously, being down here, you know, in the Bayou country. That his legs help him get comfortable, right? Like it's the free throw type situation. And so using his legs, I think he was able to get comfortable and get going. Caleb Williams, DP, rookie quarterback. The Bears sit at what, 2-2, I believe, through 2 weeks. So they're sitting at 500. Watch some of Caleb Williams, and I think some of the things we've seen with Caleb Williams, he's better at playing in structure than what I guess happened consistently at USC, but he still has those lapses, right? And I think he's a guy where he consistently wants to escape backwards out of the pocket, and he can't do that running around. That's the stuff that worked in high school and worked in college that will not work in the NFL. So with Caleb, I think he's doing some good things. This past week, who did they play? They played the Rams. And it was a couple throws where he was just off, right? I think he's still not fully settled and comfortable. He still has those jitters, right? Where you got an extra, 5 miles per hour on your fastball, right? You're sailing things just a little bit. So that I think with him, it's a work in progress, but I think the arrow is still trending upwards, right? I don't think it's bad. It's just he looks like a rookie quarterback with a lot of talent.
No, 100%. I mean, I think with Caleb, he's also suffering with what Justin Fields suffered from, a bad offensive line. And I think, and I'll say this, I know I made the statement. I was like, man, if I feel like Caleb Williams, I looked at the weapons and I was like, man, when you have Keenan and Rome and DJ and Cole Kmet and the running backs they have, like, yeah, why couldn't Caleb come in here and kill this thing right out the jump? If you call the right plays, I know Shane Waldron's been under fire for his play calling and different things like that.
Yeah,
in Chicago, that offensive line has let Caleb down a lot. It let Fields down a lot.
They have. This was the first game because I watched the Rams game. That's the first game where DeAndre Swift was able to create some stuff, right? Like, and that's the part too. I think we just talked about Jayden, but then transitioning to Caleb is that the run game presence, right? It don't appear that the Chicago Bears have a run game presence at all. But
not
DP,
consistently.
Not consistently at all. And maybe the upset of the week, and maybe some of the worst football we've seen of the week, right? The New York Jets and the Denver Broncos. Oh, buddy, that was a 10-9 win for Bo Nix. I think the Broncos 2-2 also. I believe.
They're coming off 2 straight wins.
They're 2-2. What are you seeing from our guy Bo Nix, DP?
Jesus. I don't know how you win a game and throw for 60 yards. Like, that is incredible.
I think the stat was, I think they were at -7 passing yards at halftime.
Yes, it was bad. Bo Nix has been, outside of Sunday, because he was bad Sunday, he's been all right to me. I think, if the first 2 weeks, I mean, he went up against Seattle, he threw 2 picks. He went up against Pittsburgh the week after, threw 2 more picks. And then the Tampa Bay game where they ended up winning 26-7, he just played solid, right? He just was like really playing within the offense, making the right decisions, wasn't forcing anything, hitting the open guy, letting the playmakers do their jobs. I think Bo Nix, I mean, we talked about it. The Denver Broncos was not a very robust situation in terms of weapons.
No,
we're
not.
They were not. And I think that's going to be something that they attack heavily this offseason through free agency and the NFL draft, of bringing in the weapons and pieces needed to build around Bo Nix. I think he's starting to run Sean Payton's offense better, get that level of comfort in this offense. I would give him like a C-. I think he's been solid overall. Like I said, that game Sunday, I don't really know how. I mean, I get it. The Jets is a great defense. I understand it. And I think it was raining too, so I get it. But -7 passing yards going into halftime is insane. That should not be the case.
I don't know too many times I've seen that happen, DP. That was rather interesting. Something that even if you've seen it, right? Like if I pulled that up on ESPN and said -7, I would like, okay.
You think it's a glitch?
Yeah, I would think that's a typo, right? Like somebody messed up, right? Somewhere editing, somebody messed that up. But DP, we got 2 superstar wide receivers, man, and both of them are performing well, and they win the ways that they win, right? And we're going to talk about a couple of those rookie wide receivers and how they're impacting their team's offense early on, coming up next.
Today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Gametime has a new feature called Gametime Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Gametime Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. And when you go with your family or friends or a group of people where it's 3, 4, even 5 or more, you know how hard it could be searching through all those tickets to find consecutive side-by-side seats. That's why you got to love Gametime. But also, I love Gametime because they show all the views for the seats in the venue before you purchase, so you know what vantage point you will have. Also, lowest price guarantees, event cancellation protection, and job loss protection. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and use a redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. What time is it? Gametime. Rookie report for these 2024 NFL Draft wide receivers. Keith Malik Neighbors with the New York Giants has been, listen, I mean, they're feeding him the rock. They giving him every opportunity Are the targets as high quality as you'd like? Nope, not really. But he's making do with what he has, right? On the season so far, 35 receptions. I think he leads the league in receptions, 35, 386 yards. He's second in the league in receiving yards so far. He's tied for third with touchdowns, and he's averaging about 11 yards per attempt, which puts him at, crazy enough, he's like 105th in yards per catch. But that's not really on him per se. He's got like what? He's been targeted. This is insane. After week 1, he saw 7 targets in week 1. Keith, 18 targets in week 2, 12 in week 3, 15 in week 4 last week in the game where I think he left with a concussion and everything. He gets an A+ from me for what he's doing. The explosiveness, the route running, getting open, right? Like there was a throw against Diggs where he was like in a slot and he beat Diggs. And truthfully, it was man-to-man too, press man. He beat Diggs on a crosser, but the ball was behind him. It was late.
Yep.
And I think Malik Hooker almost intercepted it. And I was like, Daniel Jones, what are you doing?
Oh, yeah, I do remember that. Yep. He kind of like threw him more upfield when he should have just threw it horizontally, right? Like just across the field. But
Malik Nibs is doing what he did at LSU, Keith. And that's just be a playmaker. Be a dynamic, explosive playmaker. And I love the fact that they put him in those, they go 3-by-1 sets. He's in that formation in the 3-by-1. He's in the slot. They're moving him around. Hey, Brian Daboll even put him in the backfield and ran it right out of the backfield. I'm like, get in your bag, Daboll. Because for one, that's what you need to do. You get in your bag because at the end of the day, when you have a quarterback like Daniel Jones, you want to make it easy for him.
Yeah, you know, DP, Brian Daboll probably like, man, I'm tired. I'm tired.
I've been reaching this bag for 2 years now. I'm tired.
Every week I have to get all the way in my bag. I'm tired, DP. I just want to simply run 4 verts right against cover 3 and hit the seam routes. I just simply want to run a post dig, right? I'm tired. I want to run a switch route. I just want to do the simple things, DP. I don't want to have to get in here and recreate the game of football every single week to make some things happen. Like my guy looks tired out there, man. But DP, I was gonna say your neck of the woods, right? It's not really your neck of the woods, but it's an area that you're rather familiar with a player that you're rather familiar with. Marvin Harrison Jr. Week 1, everybody's ready to set it on fire, right? Oh, Marvin Harrison Jr. can't play football. I told y'all he was so slow. He can't catch. He can't move. He can't separate. And then the guy's on a tear now, right? He's balling just like we thought he would. What are you seeing early on from Marvin Harrison Jr.? Him individually, but also in the context of his offense.
Man, I mean, you know, outside of the week 1 game where it felt like Kyler, like, it still was a situation trying to gain trust with him because they didn't play any preseason football together. So, like, that was that situation for him. But after that, week 2, 4 of 8, 130, 2 touchdowns. He's got, in the last 3 games, he's got a touchdown in each game. Against Detroit, you know, 5 for 64 in the touchdown. And then last week, he was 5 of 6 against Washington. But at this point, which is crazy enough, like, I'm waiting for teams to do it to Malik. Like, teams are already saying, listen, we're not even about to do this. We're doubling you. Like, we're doubling you out the gate. Like, after that, I think it was after the Rams game and early in that Detroit Lions game, it was like, we're keeping the safety over the top. We're not playing this game with you, because he started to make, like, it was crazy. After that, he slows 16 miles, whatever they said after week 1. Like, right now, Keith, if I look, he's tied. He's at 31st right now in the league. He's averaging 16 yards per catch. And he's tied for first in 4 touchdowns, 243 yards passing, puts him at 18th, and he's got 15 receptions, which is crazy. He only had 15 receptions so far this season. And I think that's the thing, is that in this offense, he's a guy, he's running the routes, he's getting open, they move him around a lot too. They'll play him outside at the X, at the Z, they'll play him in the slot. He'll run vertical shots at the seam, skinny posts. He'll run a variety of routes. The thing now is just the fact of and it was kind of what we expected. I like Michael Wilson. I like Greg Dortch. Trey McBride got concussed, I think, in the Rams game, so he missed this past week. They don't have an explosive weapon to kind of take some pressure off of Marv.
Yeah.
You know
this
what I mean?
Would have been a good situation where Hollywood Brown was still there, right?
Oh, yes.
And have that complimentary piece, or even potentially like Christian Kirk, right? If he was still in town, one of those 2 wide receivers would have played well with them.
100%, man. You know, heck, even the Jahan Dotson, right, in the slot, being the explosive slot receiver.
Yeah, another guy.
Like, they need that right now because it's been a lot of, you know, run game, play action, you know, stuff like that. And it's just becoming predictable. And when teams are doubling him and Michael Wilson isn't getting open as quick, and then the offensive line's leaky, it's just a lot that they have to kind of shore up. But Marvin's doing the best he can with what he's given. And I think that the connection between him and Kyler as Blossom has grown, he's making the plays that you want to see him make. And you know, Kyler's going to improvise. He's going to get out the pocket. He's going to make some helter-skelter plays that nobody else in this league can make, right? Nobody else is juking guys and spinning out of tackles and backpedaling, then getting his shoulder square and making throws 40 yards down the field like that. It's only Kyler who plays like I think the comp they use for Kyler, which is disrespectful, but it makes sense. Is they say that he's like a toddler. He runs like a toddler when you take something when the toddler takes something from you. Like they're the fastest person in the world.
I have a couple toddlers, DP. I know exactly. And it like, looks possible.
it's pretty spot on, right? Like you have that situation where you're like, okay, the fastest person in the world is not Usain Bolt. It's your child at 2 years old when they take your keys or your phone and they're running away from you. That's the fastest person in the world. But Keith, one of your other boys out of the Bayou country, Brian Thomas Jr. Now I know that the Jaguars are 0-4, I think.
Yeah, they haven't won yet, DP. They don't know what it feels to win like in 2024 yet. DP.
They're getting close. But it's not. They haven't had it yet. But right now, Keith, like 17 catches, 275 yards. He's also averaging over 16 yards per reception. He has 2 receiving touchdowns. Him and Trevor Lawrence. Like I think by the time we get to that mid-season, week 8, 9, and 10, that realm, and then that backstretch, I think that they're going to start targeting. I personally feel like they need to start targeting him the way that Malik Neighbors is getting targeted. Like target him 8 to 10 times a game. Like he's the explosive, big body playmaker. He's running good routes. He's getting open. Like Trevor Lawrence, this is what he needs. That big body receiver that could take the top off, make plays at the catch point. That's what he has needed in Jacksonville for so long. And now you have him and Gabe Davis. I think it's time for them to start giving BTJ more and more of a workload in this passing offense.
Yeah, and he's developing, DP. And he's becoming, and you don't know if he's a wide receiver 1 where he's gonna live up to the top 20 pick hype, right? But he's playing good football as a rookie. And at the end of the day, that's all you can ask for, right? Is that he's in the same realm, maybe not with Malik and Marvin, right? But he's in the same realm with, and we're about to get to Rome Odunze and a couple other productive rookie wide receivers. So I think that it's definitely a positive sign. And we know that even at LSU, right? And I know a big concern for me was that at LSU, he did the same 2 or 3 things, right? And winning this way in Jacksonville, it looked like he's evolving a little bit. I think even his first touchdown, right, was kind of like a toe tap on the back of the end zone, right? And he was able to bring the ball in, showing good body control. And just those little details and nuances, right, of playing the wide receiver position that's so important. But DP, real quick before we transition, I want to get into Rome Odunze because obviously he's attached to Caleb Williams, right? And we just talked about Caleb and like the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows, but he's not playing bad, right? Right now, 10 receptions for 166 yards. His biggest game was against the Indianapolis Colts, where he had 6 receptions for 112 yards. And you're seeing him get open. And I think right now for Rome, it's all about just learning the game, right? The nuances being with Keenan Allen, and then Keenan Allen's been injured. So you don't know if that's putting Rome in a spot that he hasn't been used to playing, right? And so I think that he's getting open, and I think we seen on Twitter, right? I forgot where it was, where his father was kind of pointing out that Rome is wide open, and he was like, "Oh man, please don't do that." Right? That's Dallas Cowboys level of toxic.
Cleveland Browns,
Cleveland Browns level. Yeah. So please don't do that. You want to bring that into the locker room, but he's playing well also. And I think it's just really about seeing these guys. I think that rookie Wallish type situation. So once we get to week 10, see who kind of keeps churning, who keeps pushing forward, right, and moving the threshold forward to really see who turns the corner and who has good numbers. But DP, we talked that offensive side of the football, right? But now we got to switch sides of the football, man. And we're talking about those rookie defenders. And I'll tell you this, Los Angeles Rams, they have a pair of them.
Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Hey, NFL fans, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So when you get that urge or that hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the exact same page where you placed your bets. And when you think about or speak about bets, guys, you can get in on live odds that are shifting in the moment because games are actually being played. So you think about the fact of MVPs in the NFL, the Super Bowl winner, all these odds are shifting as teams win and lose every Sunday. So guys, you don't want to miss out on this action. Also, you'll get started with $200 back in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. By placing your first $5 bet, you'll get started with $200 back in bonus bets. So, guys, it's very, very simple. All you need to do is go to FanDuel.com and get in on the action. Thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and everyday shot, for being our everydayers. Keith, you said the Rams, and that was the first team that came to mind when I thought about this topic.
Yeah, because it's difficult, DP, because we didn't have a first-round defender to pick 15, right?
Pick
so
15.
we didn't have a lot. We didn't have a lot of first-round guys.
Not at all, man.
Which guy from the Rams did you want to talk about?
Man, Jared Verse, he's been a constant. Like, yeah, he only has 1 sack on the season that came in week 1. Keith, each game, he's right now he has 12 total pressures. He's averaging 3 pressures a game. He's got 4 QB hits. He's got almost a hit on the QB every game. So he's getting and living in the backfield. Now it's just all about turning those pressures into sacks and closing the deal. And they're dropping them off in coverage at times. You know, he looks fluid doing that. Like, yeah, Jared Verse to me is the real deal. And I feel like it may not be this year, but I think next year we're getting 8, 10, maybe 12 sacks from him. And especially when you have Byron Young on the other side, you have Kobe Turner, and of course your guy Braden Fisk on the inside as well. I think year 2, I'm looking forward to seeing what it's going to look like the rest of this season for Jared Verse as he starts to pick up more steam. I think he's going to eventually start converting those pressures and those hurries. Right now, Keith, he has like the pass rush win rate. He's 28.8. Like I think he's leading the team right now. He's leading the team right now as the actual pass rushers. 28.8 pass rush win percentage. That is a crazy high number for a guy, and that's a guy that's a rookie. He's coming in and he's doing this thing right now.
Yeah, 100%. He's flashing. And what you're seeing is, and this is why we talked about this, right, during the draft process, and I talk about edge rushers, and the speed is lovely, right? We like speed. It's pretty. It looks good. You know, you get to shake people and all that. But you got to have some power. And that's what we've seen with him, DP, is that his speed to power conversions, and it's a couple of those reps that look similar to college reps. Remember, was that the Louisville game or the Florida game where he like forklifted one guy off of the ground, right? There is both of them. Okay, he did it twice, and it might have been back-to-back weeks, right? There's one of those where you just say both of them, right? Both of them.
Both of them.
And he's playing good. He's just playing good football, and it's because he has both, and we identified that, right? He has the hands, he has the speed, but he also has the speed to power conversions, which means that offensive lineman has to defend 3 different things, which could be rather difficult. But DP, I want to talk about one of your favorite guys, Nate Wiggins. Playing good football for the Ravens, right? Showing up. He's playing, I think he's playing a decent amount of snaps overall. And then what's happening is that you're seeing the athletic profile. And we said this, right? That if he goes to the Ravens, it's going to be one of 2 things, right? The Ravens gonna make you hold them or fold them, right? Point blank, period. We playing high leverage football in high level moments. You either gonna hold them or you gonna fold them, and he's holding them at this point, right? And he's playing well and he's doing his thing. He's challenging people. I think this past week they played the Bills and he almost had an interception, right? And it's just like, oh man, he was so close. And it's just it's looking like it's playing well for the Baltimore Ravens and the Nate Wiggins combination.
Yeah, 100%. I think, he didn't start week 1, but he played a decent amount of snaps, and Pat Mahomes didn't really look his way at all. Pat Mahomes kind of looked more towards Marlon Humphrey. He got baptized by fire against Dallas, where he was competitive, but CeeDee Lamb is just that's a different cat.
Yeah, it's a different tempo. Yeah, it's different routes. It's, you know what I'm saying? Like in what CD Lamb does.
All of it.
Yeah, he goes about it differently. Like it's not about what we always talk about. CD doesn't ever look like he's moving full speed, right? It's just it's different tempos that he mixes.
It's 100%. So he got baptized by fire by CD Lamb. He gave up 4 for 82. No touchdowns allowed this season, but then he, like I said, bouncing back. He started both of those games, and he started against Buffalo, 51 total snaps played. And yeah, he was targeted 2 times. He gave it 1 catch for 5 yards. And he's just playing really good coverage, but also triggering downhill in the run game. As you said, you're going to either hold him or fold him. Like we talked about it. Like you're going to have to tackle, and you're going to have to be engaged in the run game. And he's doing that now as well. And I always said, like, even at Clemson, like he tackled. It was just more so, do I want to do it right now?
Yeah.
Like,
if I have to. Yeah. It was one of those if I have to.
If I got it, I'll do it if I have to, but like, so I appreciate everything he's doing right now. Keith, I got to go to our guy over in Indianapolis, Laiatu Latu, man.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a sack and a QB hit on the season. He's got 8 pressures and hurries. Like he's getting after. He has a forced fumble on this, just on par for Latu. Like, getting in the backfield, quarterback doesn't know he's back there, gets this strip sack. I think he's going to have a big time close out to the season as well. I think as their offense starts to gel and find themselves and everything, start putting teams in more passing situations. Because remember, to start the season, the first 2 games, they couldn't stop the run. And it's like, if you can force teams to play be handicapped and just play towards the passing game, make them one-dimensional, that's going to let Latu get after it. That's going to let him be his best version of himself. Pin those ears back, get after these quarterbacks, and go out there and get these sacks and these pressures. And I think that's what you really want to see from him. Just overall, I think Byron Murphy from Seattle has looked, I think he's been hurt, if I remember correctly. I know he's been dealing with an injury. I think he played maybe the first game or so. But I think same thing with Dallas. He played so he's played the first 2 games. He got hurt against Miami in week 3. He's got a sack. He's got 6 pressures on the season so far. But of course, his best attribute right now is going to be in the run game, and he's been pretty solid there as well. These young defenders, Keith, they've shown a lot of flashes and a lot of potential, and we like the ceiling and the promise they're showing.
Yep, 100% with DP. I think we should bring this back at least every couple weeks, right? And just keep the guys updated, man, because, the rookie report, it helps with the draft class, being able to make comparisons, seeing who's producing, things like that. But DP, that wraps up another episode, man, of the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast. I want to end this podcast off by saying shout out to our everydayers. Thank you for tapping in with us each and every single day. Every listen is greatly appreciated here over at Locked On. Listen, I am Keith Sanchez, and you can find me on X at The Talent Code. That right there is my guy, my co-host, Mr. Damian Parson. And you can find him on X at DP_NFL. Like we like to say, man, y'all come talk to us because we like to talk back.
Go subscribe and follow for free on YouTube. Wherever you listen to podcasts, get the latest episode as soon as it is available. Thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and every day. Shot for being our everydays. On tomorrow's show, we're getting ready for week 6 of college football. So make a statement, second-tier prospects, and those sleepers. We got all that for you on tomorrow's show. So come and join the conversation again tomorrow on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.